In the last couple of years, online sellers have had to go through so many hurdles, not only changes to supply chain and challenges with getting product, but we're in the middle of a recession right now. And going into 2023, businesses don't just have to deal with increased competition, changing technologies, and a weird economic landscape. But we now have to make sure that we stay competitive and keep an edge. So I've put together this video, which is 4 industry trends in e-commerce that you must pay attention to in 2023 so that you can still thrive in uncertain times and make sure that you are staying ahead of the competition and on point with what your customer needs to choose you as a brand to shop with. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome back. But if you are new to my channel, I'm Khierstyn Ross, the CEO of Launch and Scale. We work with online sellers to scale them from zero at launch with their first product all the way up to $3 million a year. And if you are looking for actionable content, then be sure to hit subscribe so that you don't miss another episode we release. So even though the last couple of years have been challenging, from challenging hard times comes some amazing innovation and opportunities for those business owners that want to grasp it. So in this video, I'm really pumped to go through 4 industry trends that we're seeing that you have to capitalize on in 2023 to keep your edge and make sure that you are staying ahead of what consumers want to choose you to shop with and your brand. Trend number 1 is authenticity in your brand messaging, your marketing, and overall how you interact with the consumer. Authenticity is something that we are seeing with part of the reasons why TikTok became so big so quickly is that pre-TikTok, the biggest consumer platform really for consumption was Instagram. And with Instagram, we got really used to the perfect photo and unrealistic, a facade really of how people want you to see them and brands want you to see them, like a really polished aesthetic versus a more down-to-earth, human, authentic feel. And so with TikTok hitting the scene and becoming one of the largest social media platforms out there with over 1 billion users monthly, one big thing that draws consumers to TikTok is the authenticity and the way that we see brands using it on TikTok and now really in the rest of the short form video that they're putting out through Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, etc., is that through TikTok, we have been able to, and the brands that are doing this well, have been able to really humanize themselves and have a more authentic message because platforms like TikTok and incorporating short form video into your marketing now more than ever allows you to connect with your customer on a level that you never have been able to before. So with really feeling exhausted and burnt out with the polished aesthetic that Instagram gave us, TikTok really flipped that script when it comes to authentic, humanizing your brand. So what does this even mean and how do you even do that? Being authentic in your messaging is really one of your competitive advantages. People choose to shop with brands because brands have personality and they have an emotional connection to the brands they shop with. As part of helping you foster that, having a consumer prefer to spend with you versus buying competition, authenticity in your marketing will allow them to connect with you. So how can you do that? You can put out authentic content that is like representing your everyday consumer. If you do not want to be on video yourself, you'll be able to work with content creators that help put a face to your brand. And that with a more immersive customer experience that focuses on a relationship first mentality and being authentic and original in your marketing is going to help you cut through the noise in 2023. So trend number 1 is be authentic and try not to come off as a drop shipping ad, which just feels like derivative of everything else. So be original, be authentic. And the way to do that is to lead with a brand personality. Trend number 2 is an immersive customer experience or creating a more in-person feel to your brand. So one of the best kinds of brands that I love working with are ones that do pop-ups or have a in-person presence where they can like perhaps they are on a high street in London, or maybe they have a shop in New York, San Francisco, etc., where people can actually go and experience the product. But unfortunately, so many brands, especially in the beginning, you don't have the luxury of an in-person experience to have people try on your clothes or like try your product before buying. So as people do have, there is a barrier for people and consumers to try new products because they either, whether you sell clothing and apparel, they want to try it on and make sure it fits first. Whether you are selling a car, people want to test drive it. Whether you are selling a journal and they don't know if they're going to like your system because they haven't tried it yet. Brands that are able to replicate the in-person experience, as in making it easier for people to try your product, is going to help reduce a huge roadblock and friction when people go to try your product for the first time. We worked with a brand on the West Coast here that is a sparkling water tap, and it retails for just over $2,000. And because they aren't in any retail stores just yet, a lot of questions were like, how do I know this will fit? How do I know what it will look like? Just how do I know if I'll like it or if I'll like the taste of the water? So what the founder did was genius. He actually mailed out samples of the product to have people try it first with a very easy 30-day return. So things like that, where immersive customer experience has many different elements that you can incorporate into your brand, but it comes down to reducing friction, of making it easier for people to try your product, whether that is through a no questions asked return policy, whether that is dialing up your influencer marketing game to have people do unboxing experiences and having them show how they're using it, whether that is a digital version of your product if that's possible, whether that is having a 3D animation that lets people kind of rotate around your product to see a full like 3D interaction. Whatever that looks like, we have to really look to make it easy for people to see them use our product, whether that's actually use it. There are so many products that I buy that I would just rather, instead of like buying my clothing from a new brand online that I haven't interacted with, I would much rather go to Lululemon and Aritzia, or some in-person brands where I can actually feel the fabric. I can try it on. I can make sure that I like the fit and like the vibe of the clothing before I do that. But being online, especially with the volume of products that we put out, we have to look to replicate that in-person experience as much as possible by making it a more immersive brand experience. So take from that what you will, but that's what we want to be doing. And whether that is you do a pop-up in a large metropolitan area where you tend to have your customer base, whether that is going to trade shows, there's so many different ways you can manifest this, but you want to get people using your product, you want to replicate the in-person and start to see your marketing as more of a immersive experience. Trend number 3 is increased convenience. Make it easier for people to shop with you on their terms. So what I mean by that is, instead of only having your website available for where someone can purchase your product, make the effort, especially if you are doing YouTube ads, if you are doing Pinterest ads, if you are on Instagram, TikTok, whatever platforms that you are marketing your product on, whether that paid or live shopping or whatever that looks like, you want to make it easier for people to shop for you. So if you only have your website available for purchase, then somebody who sees an Instagram reel has to go to the link in your profile on Instagram to click through to the website to then go through a series of steps through the checkout process to eventually get your product. At every extra step someone has to take in order to purchase your product, the more opportunity you have to lose that person. So what we recommend you do is make it easier by enabling shopping on multiple platforms. If you are doing live TikTok shopping. You can actually be going live, showcasing your product and have people purchasing during the live video. I just hit my microphone there. Number two, you could do the white dot on Instagram to make it so that when someone sees a product on your post, they can click through and buy it. You can have a Facebook shop so that through Facebook ads, you have that. You can also have, if you are a content creator on YouTube, you can have your a Shopify integration where people can actually buy your product from your YouTube channel. Amazon, get on Amazon. Okay. Because some people prefer, because they're Prime members, they just prefer to shop through Amazon. So the more options you have available for the consumer, the easier it is for someone to shop with you and the less friction there will be to get them to actually purchase their product. So offering different choices for how people shop with you is going to help increase your conversions and just make it easier for people to do just that. Another sidebar of this is that using a app like a Klarna or Afterpay, if you run Shopify, allows people to break down purchases into payment installments. So if this is especially important if you have a product that is over $80, $100, $200, to help make it easier for people to split the payments over the course of a couple months as opposed to all at once. Trend number 4 is attribution. So as you go to add marketing channels, as you go to scale your business, as a business owner, this is going to be the biggest point of frustration for you. And probably the most important thing that you can answer as a business owner. Because attribution, what that means is, how do you attribute your sales? Meaning, where are your sales actually coming from? This is going to be so important because as a business owner, you are running blind if you do not know for sure where your most sales are coming from. Like if you are spending money on TikTok, Google, you're doing a social campaign on Instagram, you have influencers, you have SEO, you've just a ton of initiatives. But if you can't accurately track where your sales are really coming from, you're not going to know what to double down on and what to stop doing. So attribution is getting better, but unfortunately with the rollout of iOS 14, with some Apple and their privacy changes where people are able to opt out of being tracked, it means that the data that you are getting back from Facebook, TikTok, Google is not entirely accurate. So while getting into that and the technical side is beyond the scope of this video, here are some things you can do to start reading your data better. So the first thing you'll want to do is that a big change Google is making in their analytics platform this year is moving over to Google Analytics 4. Google Analytics 4 is going to allow better tracking and a better look into the customer journey. So what that means is that when you look at how someone shops online and finds you, very rarely, less than 1% of the time, are they going to see your ad for the very first time and think, oh, I just need that product, and then go and buy it, right? So I don't know why I'm losing my voice, but I am. So what ends up happening when you look at a true customer journey, when someone discovers you for the first time to making the purchase, usually, and this, will depend on the brand, but it's usually they'll need 7 to 9 touch points with your brand before they feel comfortable making a decision and purchasing. So when you look at the messy customer journey, what usually happens is someone is going to discover you from an ad on TikTok, and then they go to your profile, they scroll through some of your content, and then they leave. And then maybe they'll remember you a couple days later, go to Google or be hit with a Google remarketing ad, and then click through to your website and scroll through, and then maybe opt into your email. And this is now like day 4 after discovering you. They then receive 2-3 emails and decide to click through and add the item to cart and think about it. It's now day 7. Finally, the abandoned cart email hits and they're like, oh, right, I forgot about that. And then they go and purchase. When you look at the customer journey, it's really messy, has multiple points of contact. And the problem with attribution today without the right tools to see is that every platform that they engage with is trying to take credit for that sale. So here are some things that you can do to improve your attribution and just having better data to work with. Number 1 is definitely switch over to Google Analytics 4, okay? That's number one. You are just going to have much better, more accurate insight into the customer journey, how many touch points they have, and what was the point of first click that they discovered your brand. Okay, super important. Move over to GA4. Number two, put in place a post-purchase survey where you are asking people, how did you find out about us? And have a survey to have them tell you directly where the first point that they saw you was. Okay. The third thing you can do for even better tracking is use a attribution software like Triple Whale. It is on the more expensive side. For their suite, you're looking at about $100 to $200 plus a month. So that's more for brands that are already in market, already selling. But you're going to have better attribution data just because of how they have their pixel set up and how they run their data versus a GA4. But if you're just getting started, put in those two things, switch over to Google Analytics 4, as well as put in a post-purchase survey to be asking your customers directly how they heard about you so that you can have real accurate data as to what is working. Because unfortunately, the way that the data is shown right now is not accurate at all. And if you're running your business blind, you're not really running your business. So outside of that, these are the 4 trends to pay attention to in 2023. Let me know below which one you are most excited about, and if you have any questions so that we can create future video. Outside of that, thank you so much for subscribing. We have loads of free goodies below to help you launch and scale your brand, so be sure to check out some of those. And apart from that, we'll see you next week.